check on the crew who's real. Pull off the mask, let's see who's real. Pull up in a pack with killers in a car, what's good, let's see who's real. Got the 501s in ends, they're real. Run a big Mac when they get their real. Even my Koei, they sent their real. Few of our boys in Villawood real. Golosi up in the max now real. Would've done a brick by now, that's real. Telling you soldiers wouldn't believe what the shit we done. Put that question to bed, I'm telling you wouldn't believe what the wars we won.
It's good to have you here. Thanks for jumping on. We've got a good one this week. We've got the Doko here, one of the bros. One of the bros that started me off on this journey, believe it or not.
Oh, man.
You know, my bro Mark here. How's it going, brother?
Good, bro. Very well. Pleasure to be on the Fallon Show, bro.
Fuck, the man, the myth, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend. Fuck, he's a bit of a celebrity, this guy, man.
Oh, here we go.
He guest appearances in music videos. He's had a few guest features. He's had a couple features here and there.
Driller.
Yeah. But yeah, this is Mark, man. A good fella here. Actually, to be honest, his your stories, bro, were what sort of led me onto this path, brother. So a lot of respect for you, man, and what you're doing, bro. Definitely gave me motivation to do this sort of stuff. So you run Road to Redemption. So did you sort of mind explaining what that is, brother?
Yeah, so Road to the Redemption is sort of call it a movement. It's pretty much just me sharing my story, my journey, and trying to empower and inspire others out there who may be going through that sort of space that I was operating in with drugs and alcohol and partying, and which leads to prison, and also while in prison, kind of talking about that experience inside prison, and then transitioning into coming out of prison, getting deported, and hence the name Road to Redemption. This is me redeeming myself and trying to empower and inspire other people to do the same thing.
Yeah, fuck shot, bro. Fucking mad respect, brother. Straight up, man. As a fellow deportee myself, man. You know, we sort of we went down a different sort of path, man. Obviously, getting deported is, it's quite big for us, bro? You know what I mean? Like some people, 100%. People that haven't been deported, they sort of don't understand it. Even though we've landed on our feet now, man. I mean, I'm in a pretty good position myself as well, where I've sort of been able to help who I can through speaking my truth.
That's beautiful.
And, but we have sort of been through a different experience being deported. Mad respect, bro, for Road to Redemption, man, for all you're doing. Like I said, bro, today we're just going to talk about a bit about mental health. So, I mean, you know a little bit, you maybe a little bit more than me, but I mean, I've had my fair share of hard times, especially in prison, as you yourself have had. Sure. So I guess today we're just focusing on how to sort of persevere through those times, especially being behind those walls, man. You know, it's tough. But I mean, so like, look, a bit of a fast forward for you. So you did sort of have some, I don't know how you would call it, episodes in prison.
Yeah, for sure.
Concerning mental health. Do you mind speaking a little bit on that? So like, what sort of were you suffering from, or? So just want to talk about to the lead up, so prior to prison,
I think prior to prison, bro, I went into a number of drug-induced psychosis through abusing meth, ice, P, which led me to committing a number of offenses, and then ending up in prison. But while I was in prison, my drug use actually went through the fucking roof, like there was so much, as you know, there was so much drugs in there, easily accessible. I smoked myself into a number of drug-induced psychosis while I was in there. And for me, that was, you're out the gate, your mental state is so, I was just so fried, bro, that I was just, I went to a very dark place, like contemplating suicide, worshipping the devil. I had 666 all over my walls, upside down crosses, all seeing eye. I had like zero sleep, and I was just going around the prison, just doing some really like, violent, displaying some very like erratic, violent behaviors to other inmate in that, you know, and I was just in a hole, bro, you know. So
Yeah, bro.
which led me into the psychiatric wing, you know. I was put into
Yeah.
this, you know, the high dependency unit is what it's called in Silverwater. And it's where it's like your 8 of the most mentally unstable inmates, you know,
Yeah.
in
In the
New South
state.
Wales,
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
And I
Yeah.
was there, you know, I was there.
Yeah,
They're just
guys.
dosing me with all this medication, trying to get my, I guess my mind back to baseline, you know. But what for about 8 weeks, bro, they were trying me with so much different medication like
What's that
Largacnol,
injection called, Bubba? What is it called again?
Largacnol.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they got
yeah, yeah.
Largacnol. I didn't take the injection. I took it through orally. You know, I took it as
Yeah,
a drink. And
yeah.
once they could put me on that, bro, that knocked me out, man.
Yeah, brother.
That was the one that sort of put me on my ass and kind of that was the start of the recovery. That was the start of my
Yeah.
recovery. So
I mean, because it really, I mean, a big topic as well, I guess, and this would be, you know, like how they deal with mental health in prison. You know what I mean? Like so for me, I never had any drug-induced psychosis, but I were around people that did get drug-induced
mm,
psychosis through drug use. You know what I mean?
yep.
I actually touched on this in my last poddy, but yeah, so I've been around people that, you know, were seeing, because the thing in prison, bro, it's like everyone's sort of straight, you know what I mean? When you get to know everyone. And then say when there is, say, drugs or something like that, like
Oh,
people
bro,
just completely flip and turn into someone else. You
man,
know what I
like
mean? Like,
you said you've witnessed a lot of boys go into drug-induced psychosis, and that's
yeah,
what my kind of experience was, bro. I
yeah,
witnessed a lot of good boys, man, good solid boys,
yeah,
just flip and like go into this loony place. And it wasn't until I went into that psychosis, because when you're in a psychosis, bro, you got your mind, your
yeah,
tunnel vision, you know, you got your
yeah,
mindset of what you want to do. You just want to do some very like, you know, evil sort of
yeah,
things to other people, and no words or no one can say something to you to make you come out of that psychosis until you kind of look back on it. Like I look back now and think, fuck, man, I did some pretty, you know, I could have ended up, you know, dead in there, you know, or doing more time in there.
yeah,
So you put you're in prison, you're with a lot of violent men, and then you add drugs on top of that, man. Shit,
yeah,
man, it's just
bro.
a recipe for disaster, man. There's just
Especially
guys in
because
there just
meth, man, it's just the worst shit, bro. It's the
everyone's just
worst, man.
fried in there, bro.
Yeah,
Everyone's, bro,
bro.
straight out. Everyone is just not every. I
Yeah,
couldn't say everyone, but I say the majority of the population in prison, from my experience, was a lot of our people in there just frying up, man. There's no such thing as rehabilitation. When it,
yeah,
in
I know,
regards
man. It
talking on
sucks.
that topic in regards to mental health, bro, they either just gas the boys or put them in Segro, and then the boys turn, and you know, there's no
Bro,
sort
because
of
that's the thing with solitary confinement, Like, that's no place for, you know, when I had my mates in there, and I was in similar units like that as well, bro. You know what I mean? Sort of, you know, in the state, you know, just the most crazy people that pretty much in the prison system in the state, you know, and it's just like you know that they're going through, you know, they're hearing voices, man. They're doing, you know, so it's like,
100%.
what do you expect, man? Like, they're not, there's no TV. They're being kept in their cell 24 hours a day. Like,
Of
bro,
course, you're gonna
there's
lose the
just,
plot.
you know, you're gonna lose. They're gonna lose the plot even worse. You know what I mean?
Hundred
But
percent.
then when they're lashing out, they just get kept there longer and longer and longer, and
Yep.
it's just like, bro, you know, like, cause really, bro, like to see you sort of come back to see. Oh, well, I never saw you during that time, but to see you now, you know, because I sort of know people, you know what I mean, that have been through that. I mean, not everyone bounces back, bro. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
no.
I've seen a lot. I got mates out here now that are just still, you know, unfortunately, you know, just the system got them sort of thing, bro. And it's just
Yeah, because
they couldn't
I'm one
come
of the
back.
lucky ones. I'm one of the lucky ones, bro, and I'm so grateful because, man, a lot of my mates are still in there, still trapped in like drug-induced psychosis, you know, and
Yeah, it's the
still they've
worst,
gone
though.
too far. They've gone too far down that road where it's, man, it's so hard to call out. But that's why we're in this space, bro. We're doing it for the 501s.
Yeah,
We're doing it for
bro.
all our
No,
brothers
that's how I
that are
look
in
at it too,
prison
man. You know, like even though I got my mates here and stuff, you know what I mean? I'm just doing it for all of them, man, just to sort of show them, like, man, you
all
know, it's
day, man,
possible. You know what I mean? It's
all day.
possible.
100%, bro. That's why I acknowledge you, Dave, for the changes that you've made, bro, and the podcast and the work that you're doing and all the changes you've already made since you've come out, bro.
Yeah.
It's inspiring me, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I'm the one. You say I was the one that got you started on this journey, but man, I look at you and it inspires me and motivates me too, bro. So keep up the work, brother.
Yeah, no, thanks, bro. Thanks. Like, as you know, and it is tough, man. You know, there are always sort of ties that'll sort of drag you back, man, but it's all about just you just gotta sort of tunnel vision today, bro. You know what I mean? Sort of block out everything else.
Persevere, and I've had my challenges too, and I still have my challenges. You know, I still talk to brothers that are still come in and out of the system, coming out of the system, and I tell them, what's the alternative, brother? Like you've done your fair share of time. You know, if you're going to go commit these offenses, you know, if you're going to go down that space, where does it lead to, bro? Prison or death, man? It's like, come on, brothers. It's like, did you start waking up? You know.
Yeah, no, that's like me, man. You know, a couple of boys got out after doing some long time and they just went back and it was like, fuck, bro. You know, like it's sad, bro. It's sad. But, you know, we do what we can.
And they're not at that they're not at their space yet themselves, Dave. You know what I mean? Like we can only be the example and show them, and it's up to them if they want to take it. It's there.
Yeah, that's right. All right, bro. So in regards to mental health, I mean, I thought of like backtrack to sort of when you were younger. Like, did you have any sort of problems with mental health when you were younger, bro, or that you know of now, like looking back, or?
I was always sort of, I was a good kid, I believe, from hearing from my mum and dad. Mummy's boy, you know, grew up in Glen Innes, East Auckland. Good family. But in regards to mental health issues, no, I don't believe I had any. I just experienced a lot of, you know, drug and alcohol abuse. You know, seeing my environment in Glen Innes, there was a lot of, you know, drug and alcohol abuse and physical abuse, and I believe that shaped sort of me going down this abusing drugs, and because, you know,
because you're getting into rugby and that, bro. You done well in your league and that. Like, were
so
drugs an issue back then, bro? Like when you were right into your league, or was it sort of just drinking?
Yeah, of course.
Or...
when I played Auckland 14s and that, and then mum put us on a one-way ticket, kind of intervened, seeing the sort of road we're going down. So she put us on a one-way ticket to Sydney. We get to Sydney, me and my brothers chasing our NRL dream, and then that's where you're introduced in the footy cultures to drugs. You know, you start off with like MDMA caps, you know, pills, XD pills, bit of coke here, this, that, and then it becomes a weekly thing, social thing, and then, you know, you're getting introduced to more harder drugs, and then the tipping point for me was when I was introduced to meth, you know, and that just set me fucking down this downward spiral. But I believe, if you go back to your question about childhood in regards to mental health, I believe it was my core beliefs. You know, as a young kid, I believe I suffered a little bit of neglect. You know, my mum, because she worked 2 jobs, she always left me at my auntie's house, and my auntie kind of raised me in those formative years. You know, and I always used to wonder, why is mum leaving me behind and then come picking me up? And do you know what I mean? And I used to witness my older brother, Fatuli. He used to get all the presents, you know, and I used to get treated different. You know, that was my kind of early childhood memories, you know, like why am I getting treated different? I'm always getting left behind. They go places, but my mum had 8 kids, you know, so she was soldiering on. So that core belief kind of made me go down this path, I believe, of drugs, just trying to fill that void, you know, that neglect, you know, just wanted to feel. I believe that had a big part to do with my mental health.
So it wasn't sort of until you went to prison, then it really kicked off, as you say, because the drug use escalated.
Bro.
But it's also the conditions, I think, is a big part of it as well. Like the conditions, I mean, because then you really think about it, prison isn't really a place you should be getting on the meth, true. Like, because you can't sleep, bro. You know, you're just sitting in your cell all night,
you're
bro.
just sitting in yourself fried, for days on end, bro. So
bro.
That's why I talk to some people outside here, and it's like, why would you smoke meth? But it's like, man, when it's around you, like, when
it's boring too, because there's a
boring. it just becomes a habit, because I don't want to sound like I'm glorifying jail, but this is just my experience.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
it becomes part of your routine because on a week
Yeah,
to week basis, all you're doing is trying to set up the drop, organize
yeah,
who you're going to sell it to, how you're going to get food, how you're going to get by, money for phone calls, money. So it
yeah.
becomes a little,
Yeah,
like it's
no, no,
makes your
little time
time kind of.
flies. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. Then
yeah,
you get on it, and then you're on it, and you're on it, and then you end up in the high dependency unit, fried off your brain.
yeah. I know, man. It's so, man. I've fucking seen heaps of stuff, man. One time we're kicking back, thinking it's all good, and then one guy gets fried. One of the boys gets just fried off his nut, and next thing you know, he's in the cell, like bloody got the door jammed. The officers are there,
Mm,
and
yeah.
it's just yeah, the conditions, and just getting fried in prison. But so for you, yeah, so it sort of happened in prison. I mean, bro, how was prison for you when what is the New South prison system sort of like, bro? Is it it's obviously a tough place, and where
Oh,
do you
put it
sort of
this
go through, bro? Like, do you
way.
so you got taken to court, sort of? Oh well,
Yeah, no, I got locked up at Campsie police station, so I stayed overnight, and then you get taken to Surrey Hills. I don't know if you've heard about Surrey Hills, bro, but
no,
it's just like a dungeon. There's no sunlight. That you don't know what time of the day it is. You know if it's night or daytime. You're just in a cell with like six other guys, concrete beds, like perspex windows, like just everyone's just
how
punched
was
straight.
how's your mental state in that time, bro? So is that your sort of your first experience of the New South Wales prison system, or?
Oh, I was very lucky, bro. I kicked off straight away. So as soon as I got there, because I heard from boys who have been to prison, they say as soon as you get to Surrey Hills, just kick off so you can get out of there. So, bro, as soon as I got there, man, I'm just smashing the doors, just threatening inmates, threatening the screws, like
Yeah.
just smashing my cellar, ripping up my blankets, and then they put me into like the Segro part of Surrey Hills. And then they got me out of there, bro. I was only there for I think it was one day or one night.
Yeah.
So I was lucky. Yeah, so I was lucky. I got out of Surrey Hills for that one day, and then you go to Darcy, which is Silverwater, and that's where they kind of see where your mental health state's at. And bro, this is where I was still in a psychosis then. I was
Oh,
still
so this is when you first went to prison.
yes,
Oh,
bro.
so
So
you had what did you call it, bro? A
so
psychosis episode.
yeah,
Oh, so
drug-induced
you had.
psychosis.
Oh, okay. So you had that before you went to prison.
Yes, bro. And then
Oh,
once I
okay,
went
yeah,
into prison, and because I've been frying myself so hard, being up like days on end, when I
yeah,
went in there, I was coming down, bro.
yeah, bro,
So
yeah, yeah.
they put me in the safe cells. It's like the dry cells where there's just the concrete
Stuff
bed,
mattress.
toilet
Oh,
paper,
yeah, yeah,
and you're put in a gown and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
And I just kicked off again. So I thought, man, what are you doing here? I want to get out of here. What do I do? I'm coming down. I'm not sleeping. I'm agitated. I just want to speak to my parents, my loved ones. I kick off, bro. I start doing the same thing, flooding my cell, kicking the doors, threatening the screws. So what I do, I lit my cell on fire, bro. There's two holes, perspex holes, the dry cells.
yeah,
And then the sweeper comes past and he goes, "Brother, do you want to smoke?" I was like, "Yeah, sweet." So he chucks in a flint, two matches, and some tobacco and papers. So I'm there, I'm lighting it up. Anyways, I ripped up my mattress, bro, into about like 300 pieces, and I put it around the door. And then one of the officers walked past, and I think he was like one of the GMs on site that morning.
yeah.
And he goes, "Talanoa, you missed the spot." I kicked off. "Yeah, fan dog, this, that. If you don't open this door, I'm gonna burn the cell." He walks past again. He says it again. "You missed the spot." I said, "Right, had my smoke, and I didn't think of it, bro, because in this dry cell, there's
Yeah,
only
and the
like
smoke and that.
perspex windows, and
Yeah,
there's only holes at the back. So I've
yeah,
lit the
bro.
mattress on fire, bro. It's gone up in flames, just black smoke.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
going,
You would have
"Oh
felt
shit!"
that,
So
bro.
I was like, "Oh shit! I should have thought about this." I ran to the back of the cell. I'm trying to catch my breath. They've got the shields out. Right squads come in. They've come in and just smashed me up, put me on the
Shit.
ground, and then
So that's
they
when
put
you
me in a
first come to. So that's when you first rocked up to
yes,
prison, huh?
bro, yes, bro.
Fuck.
And then boom, after they smashed me and took me into the next cell, they left the light on, bro, for like for me it felt like 48 hours. They didn't
Yeah.
feed me. I was there naked. I only had a blanket,
Yeah.
no toilet paper, and then every screw that walked past, I threatened them. Anyways, I'm there like, bro, just fried, trying to come down. I'm thinking of that movie, The Hurricane. Have you seen the movie, The Hurricane?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, how the
And
hell
there
am
was
I
that
going to do
opening scene. That opening scene. When they all lined up at his door. When
Yes,
they were lined
bro.
up. Yeah, bro. Yeah. I know it
I'm
well. I
thinking,
know it well. That's like the G up.
yes,
That's like when you're in prison, bro. That's the G up scene that you play in your head, true.
bro, I'm thinking, how am I going to do 10 years of this, bro? So I'm starting to do push-ups, I'm doing squats, I'm doing burpees, but inside, bro, I'm dying, The
Yeah.
lights on, no toilet paper. And then this one Māori screw walks past and he's like, Talanoa, why don't you have any mattress? Why don't you have any blanket? Why don't you have any
Yeah.
toilet paper?
Yeah.
Then I started speaking to him. I said, all I want to do is speak to my family. I was in there for like 4 days, bro, and all I
So
wanted
this
to
is
do was meet up.
this when you got picked up off the street as well. So you're still on
Yeah, bro.
remand. Yeah, bro.
Yes,
Yeah.
bro. This is my first 4 days, so I'm
Yeah.
kicking off. Just all I wanted to do was talk to my family, bro. And then, lucky this guy that was on that time, he was in charge that day, and he finally got me food, got me toilet paper, got me mattress. Like all I wanted to do was speak to my loved ones, and got me a phone call. And he was just telling me, bro, just play the game, play the game.
Yeah.
But that was my first kind of 2 weeks in prison. Then I got sent to segregation because I had bikie affiliations. They didn't know what to do with me.
Yeah.
So they put me on in Segro. And then once I got out of Segro, I went into the general population, bro. And I'm shitting myself, eh? So I get out of Segro. I'm thinking, shit, where am I going? I hear all these stories about Parkley. They're saying, oh man, it's cash there, it's all good there, but it's known as a pretty dangerous jail. So I'm like 22 years old, and I'm thinking, shit, I better be ready here. So I get to the yard. Anyways, I'm looking at all the cell cards. I'm looking at all the names. I'm thinking, oh shit, my uncle's there. I've got 2 cousins there, and a few boys from the area. So I'm thinking, man, this is like a family reunion in there, bro. I'm thinking I'll be sweet.
Oh, true. So in regards to your drug-induced like psychosis, does that sort of just die down after a while, does it, or like?
So I've from memory, I can think of, I can remember being in 3. So that's the ones that I can remember,
Yeah.
But yeah, over time, when you stop using, obviously, if you use it, it's just
Yeah.
gonna bring on that
Yeah, bro.
drug-induced
Yeah.
psychosis. So as you stop using, it kind of goes away. But then now I'm conscious and aware of that now. Like because even though I've abstained from drugs now, I still kind of go into these kind of manic episodes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Where I'm just conscious of like my mood and what triggers it is the lack of sleep, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because I've missed all that sleep, throwing myself all those years.
Yeah.
This is kind of the side effects to abusing meth, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. True. Oh, okay. Well, so thanks for sharing that too, my bro. But sort of. So, how long did you end up doing in prison, bro?
So I've done 5.5 years. Yeah, 5.5 years. And believe it or not, bro, if I was still in Australia now, I'll still be serving my parole, bro. They gave me
Oh, right.
they gave me 9.5 years. So I finished my parole in Australia in March this year, in March 29th. But yeah, I served 5.5 years.
Oh,
So
right.
yeah, it was
And then so you had to obviously you did use drugs in jail and
a
sort
lot.
of went through things in there. So it's sort of like your last couple months. Well, how was that spent, bro? Like, but prior to being released, sort of knowing you're getting deported and stuff.
See,
Are we
so
still in the
last
mainstream, or were you in segregation,
yes,
or?
no. So I got out of the high dependency unit, and they put me into another jail, but they put me medical one out because at that time Sydney jails were like, bro, there was too much inmates coming in, so all the one outs turned to two outs, all the two
Yeah,
outs
no,
turned to
yeah.
three outs, and they
Similar
put me on
thing in
medical.
Melbourne. Yeah,
Yes, I think you guys went for the same phase, eh?
yeah.
So they put me in medical one out, and for my last 6 months, I was still on medication. Um, you know, still I
So,
was like a zombie, bro.
yeah, bro, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'll
But were they
sleep
sort of
from like
training you? Were there medical staff there that sort of do anything or in that unit
oh
or?
they would no. This is what when I got put back into the mainstream. I got
Yeah.
put back in the general population, and like you'd see your psychs in that every so often, but they'll just come and give you your pills. You get your pills first thing in the morning, and then I'll have to take these pills, Zyprexa, and I'll just be out, bro. Like I'll just be in the yard, like just not conversating with anyone, no training, just like a zombie, you know. And some boys that see me at the start of my leg, and seen me in the last 6 months, they're like, "MT, man, what's going on?" I was just, yeah, but I needed to have those that medication did help me to get
Yeah, it sort
my
of got you to getting out, huh?
baseline. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I needed,
Yeah.
and it was funny, bro. I went in on a drug-induced psychosis, and I came out on my last 6 months. Yeah. So this is
Yeah, bro.
when I was having these sort of one-on-one discussions with God, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like God was telling me, you know, you come in fried. Do you really want to go out back into society fried? If you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
it was kind of I
It
had to
lined
go
up,
through that.
it lined up.
I had to go through that to be like, nah, I really need to, you know, pull the finger out of my ass and really, you know, get off the drugs. If not, bro, I'm gonna be back inside, you know.
Yeah, nah, man. Honestly, but I respect that journey, man. Just because, like I said, you know, in prison, I have had mates that have gone through similar episodes in prison, so I know how big of a step it is when they bounce back, and if they do bounce back, you know, it's
Yeah.
mad to
And have
see.
you noticed many of them have come out the other end, or are they still trapped in the drug-induced psychosis? Or
Oh man, it's so like the ones that I do know that have sort of come back. I mean, it's so hard to bounce back to a stage that you're in now, though, too, as well. You know, that's an accomplishment, bro. You know, like really to
Mm,
start what you've done now, man. Like, but yeah, unfortunately, the numbers are low, bro. You know what I mean? A lot of my mates and
yeah,
stuff are people I do know. They're just still sort of trapped in the system as well, bro. You know, because the
yeah,
system creates it as well, man. You know,
100%.
like
Because you
being
see,
kept.
you see those riots that are going on up there. There was like a post from one of the inmates, and it's talking about the conditions um, that prison that's up there.
Vicarious.
Why? Yes.
Yeah,
So
the
they're
prison
talking about the
riots that are going
conditions.
off right now.
Did you see the post that they from one of the inmates?
No, what did they say?
He was talking about like they get their sheets changed, bro, like once every 6 months, and like
Oh
they're
yeah,
eating
yeah.
like, yeah, like their food, and like the conditions they just live in is just
The
very poor, you
lowest.
know. And that's why they're kind of standing up to and doing those, probably going about it the wrong way, but you know that's all they know while they're in that sort of environment. Oh,
Yeah, no, like oh man, it's like places like you know, especially like solitary and things like that, bro. Like there's no benefit to the community places like that a lot of the time, man, you know. Like I know a lot of boys that, you know, have done some pretty hectic crimes and most of them have done time in places like that, you know what I mean? So, you
mm.
know, sometimes the system creates the monsters, you know.
What, where do you believe, like, where do you believe they can change, or what do you believe they could do instead of sending the boys, you know, throw them up, lock them up, throw away the key, instead of sending them to Segro while they're in prison? What do you believe a kind of different sort of approach they should take?
Fuck, this is so hard to say, yeah. But I mean, definitely treating people more as patients. You know what I mean? I guess you could put if we could put it like that.
Yeah,
You
all
know,
human
instead of
beings.
yeah, well, yeah, bro,
Hey,
true. Yeah, man, like human beings. You know, sort of understanding. I mean, yeah, that's a tough one, bro. I mean, what do you reckon?
I like going off what you just said, just like treating people like patients or human beings. Like if you treat uh, someone like an animal, you know, they're gonna
Because
act like
there's so
animal, you
much we
know.
don't know about mental health, bro. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like a lot of it is just chemical imbalances.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
well, you know, that's one of the best ways that they can even put it. You know what I mean? Like, because I know I've seen documentaries on sort of psychiatrists and psychologists that worked in the corrections field, and
Yep.
they ended up leaving. You know, because a lot of it to them just didn't make sense. You know what I mean? On how, you know, mental health patients, I guess, is like are sort of treated and rehabilitated, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. You know what I
Look,
mean?
you look at the reoffending rates, bro. Recidivism rates, man.
Yeah,
Rehabilitation. What rehabilitation, bro? Like
yeah, no, no.
that's why prisons are just it's just all about money now. You know, it's all about
No, well, yeah, but when you're coming really down to the knuckle of it, I mean,
it's
like you said, with that prisoner influx that happened in Sydney, I mean, the same thing happened in Melbourne, bro. They just basically started locking up everyone for minimal stuff. You know what I
just
mean? For
lock them up,
money.
lock them up, lock them
Yeah,
up.
no, yeah, because it all boils down to money. But I
Because
mean,
I noticed a lot of boys in there. Like, man, I could honestly say 90% of guys in prison were using, abusing, abusing drugs while in there, and rehabilitation. These places are meant to rehabilitate you, but then they obviously don't,
yeah,
or they do very little. I believe, anyway.
yeah, no, same, bro, same. Well, I mean, all right, so back to the topic though. I mean, so coming from out of prison, so you're
Yeah,
being released now. So how was your mental state being released from prison, bro? So you had gotten yourself back really to that, I guess, baseline and
yeah. I was still kind of on medication. I didn't go off my medication until my first day out. I just went cold turkey, bro. They try to say wean off, but I was kind of before I got out of prison. I just wanted to sleep, bro. So my meds used to make me sleep because I wanted to get out.
yeah, bro, yeah,
But as soon as I got out, me and my wife decided I just needed to cut it cold turkey, and then which was probably wasn't the best approach, but it kind of gave me like a target, to kind of
right, bro.
quickly get my head back to baseline.
Yeah,
And then yeah, getting out of prison, I just knew one thing was for certain, bro. I wasn't ever going to put myself in that position of going back to prison, bro. That was one thing um, that I made up in my head, for certain. Fuck going back to prison, bro.
yeah, bro.
Mm.
I was in the exact same boat when I come here, right? Even though I wasn't in the best mental state, getting deported and getting off of doing a couple of years. That was in my head as well, man. I was like, there's no way I'm going back to jail. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Mm.
matter how low I get or whatever I'm thinking. Fuck, I just can't
Hell,
do it, eh, bro. I can't go back to prison.
never, never. Why would you, bro? We've seen that side of we've experienced that, and that's all good. But why would we go and make the same stupid fucking mistakes, and put ourselves and our families in the same positions, bro? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, nah, I
Mm.
know, it sucks, eh? But yeah, no, it does suck, man. I wish more people could see it like that, though, eh?
Mm.
Because it seems so
Yeah.
basic now, eh? But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
to
guess
us,
that's
but it's just so black and white. You get out of prison. If you do the same sort of behaviors, you hang around the same sort of crowd, you're gonna get the same result. That's fucking prison.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
um, but hey, everyone's on their own sort of journey and they learn on their own path. So
Yeah, no, that's how you got to look at it at the end day. Everyone's on their own journey. Everyone's
yeah,
on their own sort of
100%.
path doing what they're doing. Because this is definitely the hard path in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? When you're starting off, man, but once you
Mm,
break through, then it just flows in.
yeah, that's it, bro. All the boys just gotta do is persevere, or all the sisters when they get out. It's just, man, just persevere, stay consistent. And then what's the alternative? It's easy to go sell drugs. It's easier to go and commit offences and make your money elsewhere.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
where's it going to lead you? Where's it going to lead you?
Yeah.
Lose your freedom for? Yeah.
Hey, in regards to the medication, so you came off them cold turkey. So
Yep.
what's sort of like coming off them like?
Sleep, bro. Struggled to sleep for I think it would have been like a couple of days. Just trying to get because I was so used to sleeping for 12 hours, bro. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden your body's waiting for that, for those pills or that medication, and I'm not giving it to it. So it's one
Did you
kind of
come
side
straight back
effect.
to Christchurch, bro? Or?
Yes, yeah,
So did you have a bit of
yeah,
family support, or where you had your wife and that?
yeah. So me and my wife decided, planning what a year before I got out, was um definitely not moving to Auckland, bro. 100%. That was just that was just without a question. I just knew going back to Auckland was going to trigger me, bro. I got too much ties there, too much temptations, and I knew if I went back there, it would just be too easy to fall into old traps, So Auckland was out of the picture. And it was fitting, bro. Christchurch. We're like, what about Christchurch? And I was like, man, they just said they have earthquakes. We're like, all right, sweet, we'll go set up there.
Yes.
Christchurch is rebuilding. I'm at the phase of my life where I was rebuilding. So now we chose Christchurch, bro. No family. My wife came over with her mum, sorry, and set up 2 weeks before I got out, got a house, got a car. So I was had that solid support network coming out,
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
that's a big part, as you know, man, from
Yeah.
getting out of prison. You need that solid support,
Yeah, I know. Like definitely, man. I was sort of blessed too when I come here. But a lot of boys that do come back here, man, they got nothing, and women that come back, they've just got nothing, and just it's like a trap, really, man.
100%,
It's like a trap.
100%.
And especially here, man, because the meth, you know what I mean? Fuck, just everybody's on the meth here, but not
Yeah.
everybody, but it's quite fucking everywhere, man. Like for me coming back, I still had family members that were still doing it. I was like, fuck, like now their kids are doing it, you know what I mean? Like now that I've come back because I left as a kid, So it was just like, fuck.
It's just a cycle,
Yeah, bro. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess wrapping up. So I guess I better wrap it up now, brother.
Yeah. All good, brother.
But yeah, I mean, do you think they're doing enough for mental health, bro, for prisoners? Oh, obviously not. But like,
No, I do believe that it did help me doing all these programs. So I did a lot of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy
yeah, bro.
program. I did IDAPT over there in Windsor, and at the time, I believed the program was full of shit, because they had all the boys on the bupe and methadone. You're meant to be sober doing this drug program, but yet that they're giving these guys medication that off their heads doing this drug
Yeah.
program. Do you know what I mean? That didn't make sense to me, but
yeah.
I
Because
did.
they try not to look at bupes and methadone as a drug, bro. They sort of.
No, that's right. I used to tell the facilitators, like, are you fucking serious? Like, we're doing a drug program. You're meant to be abstaining from drugs, but these guys, but I guess they needed that to come, wean down and just, you know what I mean? Just like the
Yeah.
medication that helped me, it's kind of helping these other
But they're
boys
still
come
off their head. They're still,
Bro,
they're
still
still
off their head.
buzzing.
So it's kind of like a joke, but I guess the positive side was I do I guess unintentionally use some of the tools that I learned in this program coming out. Now that I
because
look
they
back
do
at it,
drum it in you, bro. Those
yes,
prison
bro.
courses, bro. They do try
Yeah.
and drum it into you, the same shit, and you think it's not sinking in,
Yes, you think, oh, this is all bullshit, it's all rubbish, but yeah, now that I look back at it, nah, it did help, like when they're going down that path of doing all these drug programs inside, I believe that helps all the brothers. But I do believe they need to take a different approach from just, someone goes and commits a violent sort of act in the yard and they throw them in solitary, like, go in Segro for 3 months. And what are you going to learn in there? Nothing.
I know. And then, for people that are mentally ill, that can turn into a lot longer, you know what I mean, down there. And then it just becomes a cycle, you know what I mean? They're lashing out, getting
100%.
longer, lashing out,
like,
getting longer.
I know some boys. So one of the dockers, he's just got out now. He was only meant to serve 5 years, man. He ended up serving 10 years. That was extra 5 years on top of his leg. And yeah, they definitely need to try a different approach. I think maybe look at other countries and seeing what's working in their countries and kind of try to implement a similar approach. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of countries are doing so much better than Australia and New Zealand in regards to reoffending rates.
Especially out in Europe, Sweden. They've got different ways that they run their prisons. But I guess they got more money coming in another way, though. You know what I mean? So they don't need the corrections route of getting money. You know what I mean? They don't need to take that route to get money.
Yeah.
But like it's like you said, man. A lot of the prisons are privately run, bro. They get like, how much money a prisoner. 100 grand in Victoria, a prisoner. I mean, how much of that actually goes towards the prisoner? You know what I mean? And then you got prisons that run hospitals, so they get millions. You know what I mean?
That's a whole different podcast, bro.
Yeah, bro. Well, we know, bro. We know.
Oh, we know. Yeah.
All right, bro. I think I'll leave it there, brother. Thanks for jumping on, cuz. Fuck means a lot.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, bro. No, it's a pleasure to jump on this podcast and just acknowledge you again, bro. Just keep up the good work, man. Keep up the good fight, and for anyone who's watching this, make sure if you know someone that's sort of operating in the space that we can overcome our sort of addictions and our mental health issues and just help each other, help each other come out the other end.
Yeah,
But
bro.
thanks to you, Dave.
Iron sharpens iron, brother. Like you said
All
on your
day.
post before, we
All
gotta
day,
stay
brother.
around
All
each
day.
other, like-minded people, man, and we'll get there in the end. I mean, fuck, bro.
100%.
Yeah, like I said, man, you got me started on this journey, and I come a long way, bro. I've come a long
brother.
way, especially with
Yeah.
your podcast, bro. I got my sort of YouTube channel running,
You have.
man.
And wait,
talking
we're only
about
getting started
different
too.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Only warming up, bro.
Yeah.
It's only been a couple months. You haven't been there long. We still got a long way to go.
We're just stretching, bro. We're just getting started, man. And shout out to any brothers, anyone that's got any family members or sisters in the system, this is why we're doing this work, brother. It's for our brothers and our sisters in the system that are still trapped in that space, and hopefully one day they see it for themselves and they come out the other end.
All right, well, let's leave it there, brother. Thanks again for jumping on, brother, and thanks fans for tuning in.